This is the second part of our studies on communion. Last time we saw about Melchizedek, the high priest, and today we are looking at the Passover story. The Hebrews were in Egypt. They had been there for over 400 years, and they were ready to depart, to leave. And God warned Moses that after all the other plagues that fell on deaf ears in Pharaoh's place, he was going to inflict a last plague on the Egyptians and kill all the firstborns. But he told Moses that every family should be prepared, that they were going to leave soon. And he warned them that they should get ready. Then he gave them particular, very detailed instructions. He said that every family should take a young lamb without blemish or a young goat. And that animal should be used by families, one animal for each family. If a family was too small, then could share with another family. But the idea was to share this animal. The animal was to be slaughtered a particular evening, and some of the blood, according to Exodus chapter 12, was to be smeared on the doorposts and the lintels of the doors of that home. And God said in verse 13, "When I see the blood, I will pass over you, and death will not touch that family." And so that was the purpose of the blood. The blood was as a sign that the family had been covered, that the sins of the family had been covered, that the iniquity had been covered, and that the family now was under the blood, and none of those families, none of those members of families were touched that night. All the other firstborns died. And that was not God killing them, but it was them killing themselves because they had disobeyed the instruction. But the others were protected by the blood. So the blood was there for protection, for covering. But that was not the end of the story. God told Moses that the whole animal, complete, was to be roasted on fire. Not eaten like that, not boiled, roasted on the fire. The fire meaning the presence of God. Completely given over to God. Roasted, and then the meat was to be shared. And that was communion. The communion, and in that case, the meat sacrificed was for strength, for healing and health. And it is written in Psalm 105 verse 37 that there was no one feeble among them when they left Egypt. So they were all strengthened, young and old, decrepit old people, little children, pregnant women, all the people, the many thousands that traveled out of Egypt that night, pushed out by the Egyptians that were all bereaved and in mourning. None of them fainted, none got sick, none collapsed and died. They were all strengthened. And so the blood was for protection, and the meat was for strength, healing, and health. And we know that after that, they traveled for 40 years in the desert, and none of them died of disease. Those many that died in the wilderness died as punishment, but not that they fainted because they were tired or diseased. That effect of sharing the lamb's body, gave them strength, and is what another image of communion. And in fact, that was the basis, because we know that we're going to see later that Jesus was recognized by John the Baptist as the Lamb of God, who takes away the sins of the world. And that's what the Passover lamb did in the old time. So we're going to continue reflecting on this, learning and experiencing the provision of God for our healing and for our deliverance, for our forgiveness. Bless you.